The victory over the hidden outpost marked a turning point for both humans and aliens. As their ships drifted side by side in the quiet expanse of space, an unspoken understanding passed between them. They had faced a shared threat and emerged stronger because of it. For the first time, the idea of cooperation felt less like a fragile hope and more like a tangible reality. Captain Daniel Hayes stood on the bridge of his stealth ship, gazing at the alien fleet through the viewport. "We've come a long way," he said softly to Lieutenant Rachel Monroe, who stood nearby. She nodded, her expression thoughtful. "It wasn't easy, but we proved that working together is possible. Now comes the hard part, keeping this alliance alive." Hayes agreed. "Trust isn't something you build overnight. But if we keep showing them that we're committed to peace, maybe they'll start believing it." He paused, then added, "Before we leave, I want to give them something, a token of goodwill." Rachel raised an eyebrow. "What do you have in mind?" Hayes smiled faintly. "Something small but meaningful. A device containing encrypted files about Earth's history, culture, and achievements. It's not everything, but it's a start." Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, Commander Vorton reflected on the recent events. The destruction of the rogue outpost had silenced many of his critics, including General Kayla, whose influence had waned after the failed attack. Though division still existed within his ranks, the success of the joint mission had strengthened his position as leader. Ambassador Lyra joined him in the command center, her green scale shimmering under the soft lighting. "The humans are preparing to depart," she said. "They've requested one final meeting before they go." Vorton nodded. "Very well. Let's hear what they have to say." When the two groups gathered for the farewell meeting, the atmosphere was different from before. Gone was the tension and suspicion that had once filled the air. In its place was a cautious optimism, a sense that something meaningful had been achieved. Captain Hayes stepped forward, holding a small metallic device in his hand. "This is a gift," he said, extending the object toward Vorton. "It contains information about Earth, our history, our struggles, and our hopes for the future. We offer it as a symbol of trust and friendship." Vorton accepted the device, studying it curiously. "This is unexpected," he admitted, "but appreciated." "Your gesture speaks volumes." Lyra smiled warmly. "It's a step toward understanding each other better. Perhaps one day we can share similar knowledge with you." Hayes nodded. "That would be an honor. Until then, we'll continue exploring and learning." As the meeting drew to a close, Vorton addressed the humans directly. "Your arrival challenged us in ways we didn't anticipate. At first, we saw you as a threat. But now I believe your presence could be an opportunity for growth, for unity, and for progress. When you return home, tell your people that we are willing to work toward peaceful relations." Hayes bowed slightly, a gesture of respect. "Thank you, Commander. I'll carry your message back to Earth, and I'll advocate for continued dialogue between our species." With that, the two leaders shook hands, or rather, touched palms in a gesture that had become symbolic of their budding alliance. Back aboard the human ship, the crew prepared for departure. The mood was bittersweet. They were proud of what they had accomplished, but also aware that their mission was far from over. As the engines hummed to life, Jack Dawson glanced out the viewport at the alien fleet. "Do you think they'll actually follow through on their promises?" he asked Rachel. She shrugged. "Only time will tell. But I think some of them genuinely want peace. People like Lyra and Vorton, they're trying to make a difference." Hayes overheard their conversation and chimed in. "It's not just about them. It's about us too. If we stay true to our word, if we show them that humanity can be trusted, then maybe, just maybe, we can create something lasting." The stealth ship began its journey back to Earth, leaving behind ripples of change in the alien star system. On board, the crew took turns reflecting on the experience. Rachel thought about her conversations with Lyra, how much they had learned from each other despite their differences. Jack marveled at the technological insights gained during their collaboration. And Hayes felt a deep sense of responsibility to his crew to humanity and to the fragile alliance they had forged. Among the aliens, similar reflections took place. Ambassador Lyra spent hours reviewing the encrypted files given by the humans, fascinated by their stories of resilience and innovation. Strategist Torrin shared his admiration for humanity's adaptability, noting how quickly they had adjusted to unfamiliar challenges. Even Commander Vorthan, typically reserved, allowed himself a moment of optimism. Perhaps this encounter will inspire change not just for us, but for others in the galaxy, he said to Lyra. General Kayla, however, remained unconvinced. Though sidelined, she watched the developments with growing frustration. "Mark my words," she muttered to a fellow officer. "This truce won't last. Sooner or later, they'll betray us." Her words fell on deaf ears. Most of her colleagues were too focused on the possibilities of cooperation to dwell on fear. As the human ship vanished into the stars, both sides knew the road ahead would be difficult. Challenges lay in weight political disagreements, cultural misunderstandings, and external threats. Yet, amidst the uncertainties, a seed of hope had been planted. For the first time in history, humanity had reached out to another intelligent species and found a reason to believe in the power of unity. On Earth, news of the mission spread cautiously. Leaders debated the implications of contact with extraterrestrial life, while scientists studied the data brought back by the crew. Captain Hayes became a voice for diplomacy, urging his people to embrace the opportunities presented by this new relationship. "We've taken the first step," he told a global audience. "Now, it's up to all of us to decide where we go from here." In the alien colonies, discussions flourished as well. Some celebrated the potential benefits of allying with humanity, while others remained skeptical. But one thing was certain: the arrival of the human stealth ship had changed everything. It had forced both species to confront their fears, question their assumptions, and consider the value of cooperation. Far away, in the vastness of space, the memories of that encounter lingered. Two civilizations, once strangers, had glimpsed the possibility of standing together. Whether that vision would endure depended on countless choices yet to be made. But for now, in the hearts of those who had lived through it, the dream of unity burned brightly, a beacon guiding them toward a shared future. And so, the galaxy moved forward, shaped by the courage of explorers and the willingness of leaders to seek connection amid uncertainty. The story of humanity and the aliens was just beginning, written in the language of hope, resilience, and the enduring belief that even the most unlikely alliances could change the course of history. The days following the rogue attack were tense for both humans and aliens. Aboard the human stealth ship, Captain Daniel Hayes gathered his crew to discuss the situation. The room was quiet, everyone lost in thought. "We survived," Hayes began, breaking the silence. "But survival isn't enough. That attack proved how fragile this relationship is. If we want to avoid more conflict, we need to rebuild trust and fast." Lieutenant Rachel Monroe nodded. "They apologized, but it's clear their leadership is divided. Kella's faction doesn't trust us, and some of their own people might side with her." Engineer Jack Dawson added, "Their apologies sounded sincere, but words are cheap. We need actions, not promises." Hayes agreed. "Then let's push for concrete steps. We'll propose a joint investigation into the attack. That way, we can show them we're serious about cooperation while keeping an eye on their internal divisions." Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, Commander Vorthan faced mounting challenges. General Kayla had been temporarily relieved of her duties after admitting to launching the unauthorized assault, but her supporters remained vocal. Many within the fleet believed she had acted in their best interest, even if her methods were reckless. Tension simmered as factions formed, those who supported diplomacy and those who favored aggression. Ambassador Lyra worked tirelessly to mend the damage caused by the attack. She met with key members of the council, urging them to give peace a chance. "Attacking the humans only made things worse," she argued. "If we want stability, we must cooperate, not fight." Let's focus on understanding them instead of fearing them. Strategist Torin backed her efforts. Lyra's right. Hostility will only isolate us. If the humans see that we're willing to work together, they may respond in kind. But if we continue down this path of division, we risk losing everything. Vorthen listened carefully to their advice. Though he had doubts about humanity's intentions, he knew that unity among his people was essential. Very well, he said during a council meeting. We'll accept their offer for a joint investigation. It's a small step, but it may help ease tensions. When the proposal reached the human ship, Captain Hayes felt a flicker of hope. This could be our chance to prove ourselves, he told his crew. If we handle this right, we might win over some of their doubters. Rachel drafted a response, expressing gratitude for the opportunity to collaborate. Let's make sure they know we're here to help, not to judge, she said. As preparations for the joint investigation began, both sides approached the task cautiously. A team of humans, led by Lieutenant Monroe, boarded a shuttle and traveled to the designated meeting point, an abandoned asteroid base near the site of the attack. There, they were greeted by Ambassador Lyra and a small group of aliens, including strategist Torin. The atmosphere was awkward but polite, each side wary of the other's motives. This facility is neutral ground, Lyra explained. We'll review data from both sides and determine what happened during the attack. Hayes nodded. Fair enough. Let's get started. For hours, the two groups worked together, analyzing sensor logs, communication records, and weapon signatures. At first, progress was slow. Suspicion lingered as each side questioned the accuracy of the other's information. But as the investigation unfolded, common ground began to emerge. Both humans and aliens discovered inconsistencies in their own data evidence that suggested outside interference. Rachel spotted something unusual in the alien logs. Look at this, she said, pointing to her screen. There's a signal here, a brief transmission sent moments before the attack. It doesn't match your fleet's frequency. Torin examined the data closely. You're right. And it doesn't match ours either. Could someone else have triggered the attack? Jack chimed in. It's possible. Whoever sent that signal wanted to create conflict between us. Maybe they hoped we'd destroy each other. The revelation stunned everyone. If an outside force had manipulated them into fighting, it meant neither side was entirely to blame. For the first time, a sense of shared purpose emerged. Lyra turned to Hayes. If this is true, then we've both been played. What do you suggest we do next? Hayes thought for a moment. We track down the source of the signal. If we can identify who's behind this, we'll have proof that we're not enemies. Working together might be our only chance to stop them. Both teams agreed to pool their resources. Human technology combined with alien expertise created a powerful alliance. They traced the mysterious signal back to a distant sector of space, a region known for its lawlessness and secrecy. Pirates, smugglers, and rogue factions often operated there, preying on unsuspecting travelers. As they prepared to investigate further, tensions eased slightly. The humans and aliens found themselves working side by side, sharing knowledge and skills. Rachel marveled at the aliens' advanced engineering techniques, while Jack impressed them with his innovative problem-solving. Even Lyra seemed more relaxed, her initial skepticism giving way to curiosity. On board the human ship, Hayes reflected on the changes taking place. We're learning from each other, he said to his crew. That's a good sign. But remember, we're still dealing with a dangerous situation. Stay focused. Back on the alien flagship, Vorthen addressed his council. The humans have proven themselves willing to cooperate. Their actions during the investigation show integrity. Perhaps it's time we gave them a real chance. General Kayla, though stripped of her command, remained defiant. And what if this is all a trick? What if they're using this outside threat to gain our trust? Vorthen shook his head. Doubt will only hold us back. If we refuse to take risks, we'll never move forward. The joint mission proceeded cautiously, with both fleets advancing toward the suspicious sector. Along the way, they encountered remnants of old battles-wrecked ships and debris floating silently in the void. It was clear that danger lurked nearby. One evening, as the two groups reviewed their findings, Lyra approached Hayes privately. "Captain, I need to ask you something," she said. "Why did you come so far from Earth? Was it truly just to explore?" Hayes hesitated, then decided honesty was the best policy. "Not entirely. Humanity faces challenges back home, threats we don't fully understand yet. We came seeking allies, hoping to learn from others like you. But we also wanted to prove that we're capable of standing alongside advanced civilizations." Lyra nodded thoughtfully. "I see. In a way, we're not so different. My people have struggled too. Maybe that's why we fear outsiders. We worry they'll exploit our weaknesses." Hayes smiled faintly. "Fear is natural, but overcoming it is how we grow." As the mission continued, bonds began to form between individuals on both sides. Rachel and Lyra spent hours discussing their cultures, finding similarities despite vast differences. Jack collaborated with alien engineers, marveling at their unique approach to problem solving. Even Vorthan and Hayes exchanged stories of leadership, discovering shared values beneath their contrasting styles. Finally, they reached the source of the mysterious signal, a hidden outpost nestled within an asteroid field. The structure was heavily fortified, guarded by automated defenses. "This must be where whoever framed us is hiding," Rachel said, studying the scans. "How do we get inside?" Lyra stepped forward. "Leave that to us. Our ships can disable their shields long enough for your team to infiltrate. But timing will be critical. The operation required precision and coordination." Alien vessels launched a diversionary assault, drawing the outpost's attention while the human shuttle slipped through the defenses. Hayes led the boarding party, accompanied by Rachel and Jack. Inside, they found evidence of sabotage logs detailing plans to provoke conflict between humans and aliens. "We've got it," Hayes said over the comms. "This proves we were set up. Let's pull out before reinforcements arrive." As they escaped, the combined forces of humans and aliens destroyed the outpost, erasing the threat. Back aboard their respective ships, celebrations broke out. 4. The first time, genuine camaraderie replaced suspicion. Commander Vorthan addressed his people. "Today we achieved something remarkable. By working together, we uncovered the truth and stopped a greater danger. Let this be a lesson that unity is stronger than division." Hayes echoed similar sentiments to his crew. "We've taken a big step forward. This alliance won't always be easy, but it's worth fighting for. Together, we can face whatever comes next." Though challenges lay ahead, the foundation of trust had been laid. Humans and aliens, once strangers, now stood united against a common enemy. In the vastness of space, hope burned brighter than ever, a reminder that even the most unlikely alliances could change the course of history. The situation between the humans and the aliens grew more tense with each passing hour. Aboard the human stealth ship, Captain Daniel Hayes stood on the bridge, staring at the monitors displaying unusual energy readings from the alien fleet. The spikes in activity suggested that something big was about to happen. "Jack, what's the status of their weapon systems?" Hayes asked, his voice steady but laced with urgency. Engineer Jack Dawson studied the data closely. "Their weapons are charging, sir. It looks like they're preparing for battle, but I can't tell if it's aimed at us or someone else." Lieutenant Rachel Monroe added, "If they're targeting us, we need to act fast. Our cloaking system will buy us time, but not forever." Hayes nodded, his mind racing. "Keep the cloaking active. If they attack, plot a course to evade them. But let's not jump to conclusions yet. Maybe this isn't about us." Despite his calm demeanor, the crew could sense his unease. They all knew that one wrong move could turn this fragile peace into chaos. Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, Commander Vorthan faced an internal rebellion. General Kayla had gathered a group of officers who shared her distrust of humanity. "We've waited long enough," she declared during an emergency council meeting. "These humans are spies. They've been watching us, gathering information. If we don't strike now, they'll use what they've learned against us." Vorten tried to reason with her. "Attacking without provocation would be reckless. We don't even know if they're a threat. What if they're telling the truth about seeking peace?" Kayla slammed her fist on the table. "And what if they're lying? Are you willing to gamble the safety of our people on their word?" "Ambassador." Lyra stepped forward, her voice firm but calm. "Commander, please listen. Rushing into conflict won't solve anything. Let's send another message to the humans. Ask them directly about these energy spikes. Give them a chance to explain before we assume the worst." Vorten hesitated, torn between Kayla's demands and Lyra's plea for caution. Finally, he made his decision. "Very well. Send the message. But prepare the fleet for action, just in case. If they refuse to answer, or worse, if they attack, we'll respond accordingly." The message reached the human ship moments later. Lieutenant Rachel Monroe read it aloud. "Your presence near our fleet coincides with unusual energy fluctuations. Explain your actions immediately or face consequences." The tone was harsh, leaving no room for ambiguity. Captain Hayes frowned as he considered how to respond. "They're testing us," he said. "If we sound defensive, they'll see it as confirmation of guilt. But if we come across as too casual, they might think we're hiding something." Rachel nodded. "Let's stick to the truth then. We haven't done anything wrong, so there's no reason to lie." With that, Rachel drafted a reply. "We are not responsible for the energy spikes you detected. Our mission remains peaceful. However, we have noticed increased activity within your fleet. Is there a threat we should be aware of?" The message was sent, and the crew waited anxiously for a response. Back on the alien side, Ambassador Lyra reviewed the human reply carefully. "They seem sincere," she told Commander Vorten. "But they're also asking questions. Could they be trying to gather intelligence about us?" Vorten sighed. "It's possible. Or maybe they're genuinely concerned. Either way, we can't ignore the fact that tensions are rising. Kala's faction is growing stronger, and some of my own advisors are starting to side with her." Lyra placed a hand on his arm. "Then let me handle this. I'll speak with their captain directly, one leader to another. If we can clear up misunderstandings, we might prevent a disaster." Reluctantly, Vorten agreed. Lyra contacted the human ship, requesting a private communication channel with Captain Hayes. When the connection was established, Lyra's image appeared on the screen. Her green scales shimmered faintly under the soft lighting of her quarters. "Captain Hayes," she began, her tone respectful but direct. "I want to believe your intentions are peaceful, but doubts remain among my people. Can you assure me that your ship is not responsible for the energy spikes?" Hayes met her gaze steadily. "Ambassador, I give you my word. We are explorers, not invaders. The energy spikes you detected are unrelated to us. However, I must ask, are you expecting trouble from another source?" Lyra hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. "There are concerns within my fleet. Some believe your arrival has provoked external threats. Others fear you may be working with those threats." Hayes shook his head. "That's not the case. But if there's danger approaching, we'd like to help. Cooperation benefits both sides." Lyra considered his words carefully. "Helping would require trust, and trust takes time. For now, I suggest we maintain open communication. Perhaps we can share more information once we understand each other better." As the conversation ended, both leaders felt a mix of relief and apprehension. On the human side, Hayes addressed his crew. "We've bought ourselves some time, but the situation is still unstable. Stay alert and keep monitoring their activities." On the alien side, Lyra reported back to Vorten. "They claim innocence, and I believe them for now, but Kayla's influence is growing. She's planning something, and I fear it may involve force. Vorthen nodded grimly. Then we must act quickly. Strengthen our defenses and prepare for any outcome. But do not provoke the humans unless absolutely necessary. Despite these efforts, events soon spiraled out of control. General Kayla, frustrated by Vorthen's hesitation, decided to take matters into her own hands. Under cover of darkness, she ordered a small squadron of ships to launch an unauthorized attack on the human vessel. The rogue fleet moved swiftly, hoping to catch the stealth ship off guard. Aboard the human ship, alarms blared as sensors detected incoming projectiles. "They're firing!" Rachel shouted. "Multiple targets incoming." Hayes acted instantly. "Evasive maneuvers. Activate countermeasures." Jack worked furiously at his station, deploying decoy drones to confuse the attackers. The stealth ship darted through space, narrowly avoiding destruction, though caught off guard the human crew fought back with precision. Using advanced targeting systems, they disabled several enemy vessels without causing casualties. "We're holding them off, but reinforcements could arrive at any moment," Jack warned. Back on the alien flagship, chaos erupted as news of the attack spread. Commander Vorthen confronted Kayla angrily. "What have you done? This unauthorized assault could ruin everything." Kayla stood defiant. "I did what was necessary to protect our people. If you had acted sooner, this wouldn't have happened." Ambassador Lyra intervened, her voice sharp. "Enough! Both of you are jeopardizing the future of our species. We must stop this madness before it escalates further." Realizing the gravity of the situation, Vorthen issued a public apology to the humans, condemning Kayla's actions as rogue behavior. He reassured Captain Hayes that such incidents would not happen again. Hayes accepted the apology cautiously. Knowing that trust had been damaged in the aftermath, both sides reflected on the close call. The humans recognized the importance of transparency, while the aliens understood the dangers of division within their ranks. Though the path to peace remained uncertain, both leaders resolved to work harder toward mutual understanding. As the alien fleet withdrew slightly, giving the humans space to regroup, Captain Hayes spoke to his crew. "Today showed us how fragile this alliance is, but it also proved that we can handle challenges together. Let's keep moving forward one step at a time." Ambassador Lyra echoed similar sentiments to Commander Vorthen. "This incident reminds us why diplomacy matters. If we can overcome mistrust, we might achieve something greater than either side imagined." For now, the two groups remain wary but hopeful. The road ahead will be difficult, but the seeds of cooperation have been planted. Only time would tell whether they would grow into lasting peace or wither under the weight of suspicion and fear. The days following the meeting on the barren moon were filled with both excitement and caution. Aboard the human stealth ship, Captain Daniel Hayes gathered his crew for a debriefing. The mood was lighter than before, but everyone knew the situation was still delicate. "We made progress," Hayes began, pacing slowly in front of his team, "but we can't let our guard down." Every word they said could have hidden meanings. "We need to stay sharp." Lieutenant Rachel Monroe nodded, her mind already racing with thoughts about the aliens' behavior during the meeting. They seemed sincere, but there were moments when Lyra hesitated. It's like she was choosing her words very carefully. Engineer Jack Dawson chimed in. "That's what I noticed too. And did you see how General Kayla kept glaring at us from their ship? She didn't look happy about any of this." Hayes agreed. "Exactly. Kayla is a wild card. If she gets her way, diplomacy might not last long. But for now, Commander Vorthen seems to be on our side. Let's focus on building trust with him and Lyra while keeping an eye on the others." Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, tensions simmered among the council members. General Kayla paced angrily in the command center, her frustration boiling over. "This is ridiculous," she snapped at Commander Vorthen. "You're letting them walk all over us. They came uninvited, yet you treat them like honored guests. What happens if they betray us?" Vorthen remained calm, though his patience was wearing thin. "Kayla, We've been through this. Attacking them now would only lead to disaster. Their technology is advanced more than we expected. Until we understand them better, we must proceed cautiously. Kayla clenched her fists, but said nothing more. She knew arguing further would be pointless, at least for now. Ambassador Lyra, however, took a different approach. She spent hours reviewing recordings of the meeting, analyzing every word and gesture from the humans. Something about their behavior intrigued her. "They're hiding something," she said aloud to strategist Torin, who sat nearby. "Their captain spoke of peace and cooperation, but there's more to their story. Why are they so far from their home planet? What drives them?" Torin leaned forward, his pale blue skin glowing faintly in the dim light. "Perhaps it's fear," he suggested. "Humans are known for being adaptable, but also cautious." "Maybe. They came here seeking allies because they feel threatened by something or someone." Lyra considered this possibility. It's possible. Or maybe they're planning something bigger. Either way, we need to dig deeper. Next time we meet, I'll ask more pointed questions. Back on the human ship, Rachel discovered something unsettling while reviewing data collected during the meeting. She called Captain Hayes to her station, her expression serious. "Sir, take a look at this," she said, pointing to her screen. Hayes leaned in, studying the information. "What am I looking at?" he asked. "It's a fragment of their communication logs," Rachel explained. "I managed to intercept part of it during the meeting. Most of it is encrypted, but I decoded a small section. Listen to this. Biological trials progressing as planned." Hayes frowned. "Biological trials? What does that mean?" Rachel hesitated. "I'm not sure yet, but it doesn't sound good. There's also mention of targeting specific DNA structures. It could be related to weapons development." Hayes straightened up, his face grim. "If they're working on biological weapons, we need to know more. This changes everything." Jack joined the conversation, having overheard the exchange. "Do you think they're planning to use these weapons against us?" he asked. Hayes shook his head. "Not necessarily. They could be developing them for another purpose, or even defending themselves from someone else. But we can't ignore the risk. The crew decided to keep this discovery quiet for now. Sharing such sensitive information with the aliens could escalate tensions or provoke hostility. Instead, they focus on gathering more intelligence." Rachel worked tirelessly to decrypt additional fragments of the alien communications, while Jack monitored the ship's systems for any signs of unusual activity. Days turned into weeks as both sides continued their cautious dance. The humans sent periodic messages to the aliens, expressing gratitude for the meeting and proposing future discussions. The aliens responded politely, but kept their replies vague. Hence, others within their ranks were pressuring Vorton to take a harder stance. During one of these exchanges, Rachel noticed inconsistencies in the aliens' language. Certain phrases seemed deliberately ambiguous, almost as if they were trying to mislead. She brought this to Hayes' attention. "They're testing us," she said. "Every message has layers of meaning. Some parts are genuine, but others feel like traps." Hayes nodded thoughtfully. "Then we'll play along for now. Keep responding with clarity and honesty, but don't reveal anything critical. We need to show them we're trustworthy without giving away our hand." As the crew navigated this delicate balancing act, Ambassador Lyra grew increasingly conflicted. Her conversations with the humans had sparked a curiosity she hadn't anticipated. They were unlike any species she'd encountered before, resilient, innovative, and driven by a desire to explore. Yet, doubts lingered in her mind. Were they truly peaceful, or were they using diplomacy as a cover for something darker? One evening, Lyra found herself staring out a viewport, watching the stars streak past as the alien fleet moved through space. Strategist Torin approached quietly, sensing her unease. "You seem troubled," he said gently. Lyra sighed. These humans, they remind me of us in some ways. But there's so much we don't know. How can we trust them when we barely understand them?" Torin placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Trust isn't given, it's earned. Both sides are taking risks. All we can do is keep asking questions and listening carefully. Over time, the truth will come out. Lyra smiled faintly. I hope you're right. Unbeknownst to either side, events were unfolding that would soon force their hands. Back on the human ship, Jack detected a spike in energy readings near the alien fleet. Captain, something's happening over there, he reported urgently. Hayes hurried to the bridge, where monitors displayed strange fluctuations in the aliens' power systems. What's causing that? Hayes asked. Jack shook his head. I'm not sure, but it looks like they're preparing for something big. Weapons charging, shields activating, it's all ramping up. Rachel's eyes widened. Do you think they're planning to attack us? Hayes clenched his jaw. Maybe, or maybe they're expecting trouble from somewhere else. Either way, we need to be ready. The crew sprang into action, activating the ship's cloaking system and running simulations for potential scenarios. If the aliens turned hostile, they would rely on speed and stealth to escape. But escaping wasn't the goal, they needed answers. On the alien side, Commander Vorthen faced mounting pressure from his council. General Kayla had grown bolder, rallying support for a preemptive strike against the humans. We can't wait forever, she argued. Every moment we delay gives them time to prepare. Strike now, while we still have the advantage. Vorthen resisted, but cracks were forming in his leadership. Even some of his trusted advisors began questioning his decisions. Only Lyra stood firmly by his side, urging patience. Attacking without cause will destroy any chance of peace, she insisted. Let's give diplomacy more time. As tensions reached a breaking point, neither side realized how close they were to a tipping point. Trust was fragile, and misunderstandings loomed large. Yet, amidst the uncertainty, glimmers of hope remained. Both humans and aliens wanted the same thing: to protect their people and secure a better future. Whether they could achieve that together or apart remained to be seen. The tension in the alien command center was thick as Ambassador Lyra prepared to send a reply to the human ship. Her fingers hovered over the control panel, double-checking the translation algorithms to ensure their message would be clear. Council had agreed reluctantly to give diplomacy another chance, but the mood among the officers remained uneasy. General Kayla stood nearby, arms crossed, her sharp eyes watching every move Lyra made. Don't make us look weak, Kayla warned, her voice low but firm. Lyra ignored the comment and focused on the task at hand. She knew this moment could shape the future of relations between their species. With a final adjustment, she transmitted. The response: your request for dialogue is acknowledged. We will meet under neutral conditions to discuss your intentions further. It was a cautious message, designed to test whether the humans were truly interested in peace or simply buying time. Aboard the human stealth ship, Lieutenant Rachel Monroe received the alien reply with a mix of relief and excitement. There. Willing to talk, she announced, turning to Captain Daniel Hayes. The crew gathered around, their faces lighting up with hope. After days of uncertainty, this felt like progress. Hayes studied the message carefully before nodding. Good. Let's not waste the opportunity. Prepare a response confirming our willingness to meet. Rachel quickly drafted a reply, keeping it concise and respectful. We accept your terms and look forward to peaceful discussions. Please provide coordinates for the meeting location. As the message was sent, the crew waited anxiously for the aliens' next move. Jack Dawson, the ship's engineer, checked the systems one more time. Just in case they try something sneaky, he muttered, earning a few nervous chuckles from. His teammates docked back on the alien side. Commander Vorthen reviewed the human response with cautious optimism. They seem sincere, he said, addressing his council. But we must remain vigilant. This could still be a trap. General Kayla frowned. Then let's set the meeting somewhere we can control. If they step out of line, we'll crush them. Vorthen shook his head. No, neutral ground is essential if we want to build trust. I've already chosen a location, an uninhabited moon orbiting a nearby gas giant. It's remote enough to minimize risks. Ambassador Lyra nodded. In agreement. That's wise. A neutral setting will show them we're serious about negotiation. She turned to leave, determined to oversee the preparations herself. Before she could exit, Vorthen called after her. Be careful, Lyra. These humans may appear cooperative, but we know nothing about their true nature. Lyra gave him a reassuring smile. I'll handle it. As the two sides finalized plans for the meeting, both crews worked tirelessly to prepare. On the human ship, Captain Hayes held a briefing with his team. This is a critical moment, he began, pacing slowly. In front of his crew. If we succeed, we open the door to new possibilities, not just for us, but for all of humanity. But remember, trust takes time. Don't expect miracles overnight. Lieutenant Rachel Monroe added, we should also be ready for surprises. They might not share everything openly, and we shouldn't either. Some secrets are better kept until we understand them better. Hayes nodded. Exactly. Share only what's necessary. Our priority is to learn as much as we can while staying safe. Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, Ambassador Lyra met with a small delegation tasked with accompanying her to the meeting. Among them was strategist Torin, who had been vocal about the need for diplomacy. Remember, Lyra told the group, our goal is to assess their intentions without provoking conflict. Stay calm, and let me do the talking unless I ask for your input. Torin nodded thoughtfully. What if they lie? How will we know? Lyra sighed. We won't, not completely. That's why we have to rely on observation and intuition. Pay attention to their body language, tone, and any inconsistencies in their words. Humans are complex beings. Reading them won't be easy. Hours later, the designated moon came into view. Its surface was barren, covered in gray dust and jagged rocks. Two ships descended toward the meeting site, a sleek alien vessel, and the nearly invisible human craft. Both landed a safe distance apart, creating an open space for the delegations to gather. Captain Hayes stepped out of the human ship first, followed by Rachel and Jack. They wore simple uniforms, avoiding anything that might resemble armor or weapons. Their goal was to appear non-threatening. Across the field, Ambassador Lyra emerged from the alien ship, accompanied by Torin and two other representatives. She moved gracefully, her shimmering green scales reflecting the dim light of the distant sun. For a moment, both groups stood frozen, studying each other. Then Lyra took a step forward, raising a hand in what appeared to be a gesture of greeting. Hayes mirrored the action, offering a slight nod. I am Captain Daniel Hayes, he said, speaking clearly through a translator device. Thank you for agreeing to meet. Lyra tilted her head slightly, her expression unreadable. I am Ambassador Lyra. We welcome your presence, though it comes with questions we hope to answer today. Her voice was calm but carried a hint of curiosity. The two leaders approached each other cautiously, stopping a few feet apart. Hayes extended his hand, unsure if the gesture would be understood. To his surprise, Lyra reached out and touched his palm lightly, mimicking the motion. It was a small but significant moment, a sign that communication might be possible despite their differences. Over the next hour, the delegations exchanged basic information. Hayes explained Earth's history, emphasizing humanity's resilience and desire for knowledge. Lyra listened intently, occasionally asking clarifying questions. In turn, she shared details about her people's society, describing their achievements and challenges. Though some topics were off limits, such as military capabilities or advanced technology, the conversation flowed smoothly. Rachel observed the interaction closely, noting how Lyra seemed genuinely interested in understanding humanity. At one point, she leaned over to whisper to Hayes, "She's smart. Be careful what you say." Hayes gave a subtle nod, acknowledging the warning. Despite the progress, tensions lingered beneath the surface. General Kayla, watching from the alien ship, grew increasingly impatient. "This is a waste of time," she muttered to an officer beside her. We should strike now while they're vulnerable. The officer hesitated. Commander Vorthen ordered us to stand down. Attacking would defy his authority. Kayla scowled but said nothing more. For now, she obeyed, though her frustration simmered back at the meeting site. The discussion shifted to practical matters. Why did you come here? Lyra asked, her tone polite but probing. Hayes chose his words carefully. We seek to expand our understanding of the universe. Your civilization caught our attention because of its advancements. We hope to learn from you and perhaps work together someday. Lyra considered this for a moment. Working together. That is a bold idea, but trust must come first. Today is only the beginning. Hayes smiled faintly. Agreed. Trust takes time. As the meeting drew to a close, both sides expressed a willingness to continue talks in the future. Before parting ways, Lyra offered a final thought. Your arrival has challenged us in ways we didn't expect. Perhaps that is a good thing. Change often brings growth. Hayes nodded. We feel the same. Thank you for your openness. With that, the delegations returned to their respective ships. As the human crew boarded their vessel, a sense of accomplishment filled the air. We did it, Rachel said, smiling. We actually started a conversation. Hayes allowed himself a brief smile. Yes, but this is just the first step. There's still much to learn and much to prove. On the alien side, Ambassador. Lyra reported back to Commander Vorthen. They are curious and cautious, much like us, she said. I believe there is potential for cooperation, but it will require patience. Vorthen nodded. Then patience we shall have. For now, let's monitor them closely. Though the encounter ended peacefully, both sides knew the road ahead would be challenging. Trust was fragile, and misunderstandings could easily arise. Yet, as the two ships departed the barren moon, a spark of hope remained, a belief that even vastly different beings could find common ground in the vastness of space. Commander Vorthen stood silently in the dimly lit chamber, his sharp eyes scanning the faces of his council members. The room buzzed with tension as everyone tried to make sense of the sudden appearance of the human ship. General Kayla, a tall and imposing figure, paced back and forth, her armored boots clicking against the metal floor. Her expression was one of barely contained anger. This is unacceptable, she snapped, breaking the uneasy silence. They have invaded our territory without permission. If we let this go unpunished, it will show weakness. Strategist Torin, a wiry alien with pale blue skin, leaned forward in his seat. His voice was calm but firm. We don't even know why they're here, he said. Attacking them blindly could lead to disaster. What if their technology is superior to ours? We've already seen how easily they evaded our sensors. Kayla glared at him. Are you suggesting we do nothing? That we just sit here while they spy on us? Vorthen raised a hand to silence the growing argument. Enough, he said, his deep voice cutting through the noise. We need to think carefully before making any decisions. This is not just about pride or fear, it's about survival. If these humans are truly as advanced as they seem, then rushing into battle could destroy us all. He paused, letting his words sink in. But ignoring them isn't an option either. We must find a way to understand their intentions. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. None of them had ever faced a situation like this before. For centuries, their species had believed itself to be the most powerful force in the galaxy. Now, the sudden arrival of humanity challenged that belief. It wasn't just the stealth ship that worried them. It was the implications. If humans could develop such advanced technology, what else might they be capable of? Ambassador Lyra, slender alien with shimmering green scales, spoke up for the first time. She was known for her diplomatic skills and often served as a mediator during conflicts. Perhaps we should try communicating again, she suggested. Their message earlier indicated peaceful intentions. Maybe they are here to learn, not to fight, Kayla snorted. Or maybe it's a trick. How can we trust them when we know so little about them? Lyra didn't flinch under Kella's harsh tone. Trust has to start somewhere, she replied. If we attack without provocation, we risk turning them into enemies. But if we approach them with openness, we may gain valuable allies, or at least avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Vorthen nodded thoughtfully. Lyra makes a valid point, he said. Diplomacy should always come before violence. Let's give them another chance to explain themselves. While the council debated, Captain Daniel Hayes and his crew remained vigilant aboard their stealth ship. They had intercepted fragments of the aliens' communications, piecing together bits of information to understand their situation better. Lieutenant Rachel Monroe sat at her station, her fingers flying over the controls as she analyzed the data. It seems like they're divided, she reported. Some want to attack us, while others are pushing for negotiation. Hayes listened carefully, his brow furrowed in thought. That's useful to know, he said. If there's division among them, it means they're not united. That could work in our favor if we play our cards right. Engineer Jack Dawson chimed in from across the bridge. Still, we can't afford to relax. Even if some of them want peace, others might decide to fire first and ask questions later. Rachel nodded. Agreed. But I think we should prepare for both scenarios. Keep the cloaking system active in case things turn hostile, but also draft another message to show we're willing to talk. Hayes approved the plan. Good idea. Let's emphasize our peaceful intentions again. Maybe we can convince them that we're not a threat. As the hours passed, the human crew worked tirelessly to refine their strategy. They knew the stakes were high. If negotiations failed, they would have to rely on their ship's advanced systems to escape. But escaping wasn't the goal. They wanted to establish contact, to prove that humanity could stand alongside other intelligent species in the galaxy back on the alien side. Commander Vorthen called Ambassador Lyra to his private quarters. He trusted her judgment and needed her advice. What do you think of the situation? He asked, his tone softer than usual. Lyra hesitated for a moment before answering. I believe they are telling the truth about seeking peace, she said, but I also sense hesitation in their messages. They're holding something back, perhaps out of caution or fear. Vorthen nodded. Fear. Yes, that's understandable. After all, we outnumber them, and they have no idea how we'll react. Still, we can't ignore the possibility that they might be hiding something dangerous. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. Then let me handle the negotiations, she said firmly. I'll push for more transparency while keeping things calm. If anyone can build trust between us, it's me. Vorthen studied her face for a moment, then gave a small smile. Very well. You have my full support. Just be careful. These humans may seem harmless now, but we can't afford to underestimate them. Meanwhile, tensions continued to rise within the alien fleet. General Kayla refused to back down, insisting that waiting was a sign of weakness. She gathered her loyal officers and began preparing a contingency plan in case diplomacy failed. Her actions did not go unnoticed by Vorthen, who grew increasingly concerned about the divisions within his ranks. This is exactly what we don't need, he muttered to himself. If we're not careful, this could tear us apart. On board the human ship, the crew detected unusual movements among the alien vessels. Several ships appeared to be repositioning themselves, forming what looked like a defensive perimeter. They're getting ready for something, Jack warned, his voice tense. Either they're planning to surround us or preparing for an attack. Hayes frowned. Stay alert. If they move closer, activate the countermeasures. Despite the growing unease, Lieutenant Rachel Monroe remained focused on her task. She fine-tuned the second message they planned to send, ensuring it conveyed sincerity and openness. When the final draft was ready, she turned to Hayes. Captain, I think this is our best shot at easing their fears, she said. Hayes reviewed the message quickly and gave a nod of approval. Send it, he ordered. The message was transmitted into the void of space. carrying humanity's hopes for peaceful communication. It read, "We are explorers, not conquerors. Our mission is to seek knowledge and understanding. We mean no harm to your people and wish only to exchange ideas." As the signal traveled toward the alien fleet, the human crew held their breath, waiting for a response. Minutes ticked by slowly, each one feeling longer than the last. Then finally the aliens replied. Their message was cautious, but less hostile than before. "Your words are noted," it said. "We will consider your request for dialogue. However, any false moves will be met with force." The human crew exhaled collectively, relieved that the situation hadn't escalated further. Captain Hayes allowed himself a small smile. "Well done, everyone," he said. "We've taken the first step. Now, let's see where this path leads." Though challenges lay ahead, the crew felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had proven that humanity could navigate the complexities of interstellar politics and perhaps even forge new alliances. For Commander Vorton and his council, the human response brought mixed feelings. Some saw it as a genuine effort to build trust, while others remained skeptical. But one thing was clear. The arrival of the human stealth ship had changed everything. Whether it led to cooperation or conflict, the galaxy would never be the same again. In the vast and quiet darkness of space, something unusual happened. Far away from Earth, near a distant star system, a strange event took place. A sleek and almost invisible ship appeared out of nowhere. It was not like any other spaceship seen before. This ship belonged to humans, but no one expected them to show up so far from their home planet. The ship's presence was only noticed because of faint energy waves had disturbed the silent void of space. On board the ship, a group of skilled individuals worked together under the leadership of Captain Daniel Hayes. He was a calm and experienced officer who had spent years preparing for missions like this. With him were Lieutenant Rachel Monroe, who was sharp and quick to think, and Engineer Jack Dawson, who knew every detail about the ship's systems. Their mission was secret, even to most of their own crew. All they knew was that they were sent to gather information about extraterrestrial civilizations. They traveled quietly, avoiding detection until now. The area where the ship emerged was not empty. Nearby, an alien colony orbited a large red star. The aliens living there were advanced beings with technology far beyond what humans used on Earth. They had built massive ships and powerful weapons, believing themselves to be the dominant force in the galaxy. But today, everything changed. Sensors on the alien ships began to pick up strange readings. At first, the readings were weak, almost unnoticeable. Then suddenly, alarms started blaring across the alien fleet. Commander Vorton, the leader of the alien faction stationed near the colony, rushed to his command center. His sharp eyes scanned the screens filled with data. Something was wrong. The sensors showed an unknown object moving close to their position. "What is it?" he asked, his voice firm but tinged with concern. His officers scrambled to analyze the readings. After several tense moments, one of them spoke up. "It's a ship," the officer said hesitantly. "But it doesn't match any known designs." Vorton frowned. Unknown ships were rare in this part of the galaxy. Most species capable of space travel were already known to the aliens. This new arrival was different. What troubled Vorton most was how close the ship had come without being detected. For decades, the aliens believed their sensors were unmatched. Now, this mysterious vessel had slipped past their defenses, as if they didn't exist. As the alien fleet prepared for action, the human crew aboard the stealth ship remained calm. Captain Hayes stood on the bridge, watching the monitors carefully. "They spotted us," he said, his tone steady. Lieutenant Monroe nodded, her fingers flying over the control panel. "Their ships are powering up weapons," she reported. "But they haven't fired yet." Engineer Jack Dawson added, "Our cloaking system is holding strong. They can sense us, but they can't see us." Hayes thought for a moment. "Good. Let's keep it that way for now. he said. "We're here to observe, not engage. Stay ready, though. If they attack, we'll need to act fast." The crew nodded, each person focused on their task. The tension in the air was thick, but no one panicked. They had trained for situations like this, and they trusted their captain to guide them through. It docked back on the alien side. Commander Vorthen faced a difficult decision. His officers were divided. Some wanted to launch an immediate attack, fearing the unknown ship might be hostile. Others argued for caution, pointing out that they still didn't know what kind of technology the newcomers possess. "If they could sneak up on us like this, imagine what else they can do," one advisor warned. Vorthen listened carefully, weighing the risks. Finally, he made his choice. "Hold your fire," he ordered. "Let's try to communicate first. We don't want to start a war unless we have to." Meanwhile, aboard the human ship, Lieutenant Monroe detected the aliens' attempt to send a message. "Sir, they're trying to contact us," she said, looking at Hayes. "Can we understand it?" Hayes asked. Monroe shook her head. "Not yet. It's in their language, but I'm working on decoding it." Hayes nodded. "Keep me updated, and prepare a response in case they ask for one." While the crew worked, Jack Dawson monitored the ship's systems closely. "Captain, I've been running simulations," he said. "If they do decide to attack, we can outrun them easily. But if they manage to corner us, things could get tricky." Hayes acknowledged the risk. "Understood. Let's hope it doesn't." Come to that, the situation remained tense as both sides tried to figure out the next move. On the alien ships, debates continued. General Kayla, one of Vorthen's top commanders, pushed hard for aggression. "We can't let them think we're weak," she insisted. "If we strike now, we can destroy them before they cause trouble." But Vorthen disagreed. "Attacking blindly will be reckless," he countered. "We need to learn more about them first." As time passed, the aliens grew more frustrated. Their attempts to communicate went unanswered, and the mysterious ship showed no signs of leaving. The human crew, however, was patient. They knew revealing too much too soon could put them at a disadvantage. Captain Hayes kept his team focused, reminding them of their mission's importance. "We're explorers, not invaders," he told them. "Let's prove that to them." Finally, after hours of waiting, Lieutenant Monroe finished decoding the alien message. "It's a warning," she said. "They're demanding we identify ourselves and explain why we're here." Hayes smiled faintly. "Well, that's progress. Prepare a response. Keep it simple and peaceful." With careful precision, the human crew crafted a reply. It was short but clear. "We come in peace. Our intentions are not hostile." The message was transmitted in multiple languages, hoping at least one would be understood. When the aliens received it, confusion spread among their ranks. Some saw it as a trick, while others felt relief. Commander Vorthen, however, saw an opportunity. Perhaps this encounter could lead to something greater than conflict, and so the stage was set for a meeting between two very different civilizations. Neither side knew what the future held, but both understood that this moment would shape their destinies. In the cold vastness of space, humanity had taken its first step toward making contact with another intelligent species. Whether it would end in friendship or disaster remained to be seen.